You guys, welcome back to another review and to a very special review. Because in Dienstlagen we've met a subscriber who said, "Hey Michael, would you like to film my Sport Classic?" Or more like, I've asked him to do it and he said yes. And now we're here with a beautiful 911 Sport Classic in PTS Graphite Grey, the color of the 50 years 911. A very beautiful car. And also a lot of pressure for me to film a review here, because this is one of the Halo cars. And you have such an emotional connection with it and you expect so much of it. And I'm also saying this car, manual, rear-wheel drive, 550 HP, thanks to the bi-turbocharging, I really expect it to be very good. This should be the best 911 I have driven so far. Because this has everything I want. A lot of torque, a lot of power, manual gearbox, rear-wheel drive. Together with this wonderful styling of the Sport Classic, this will be a wonderful shoot. I'm really excited. I think I never was excited for driving a car, maybe for the very first time driving a Porsche. There I was maybe that excited, like with this one. One of 1,250 911 Sport Classics. Wow! As a manual and this sound. They really did a great job. Back when we drove the 911 Turbo Cabriolet, or the Coupe, the sound which I got out of the 992 Turbo, it sounds better than the predecessor, even though this one has an OPF. But yeah, they really made the Sport exhaust amazing. 7,000 RPM with the bi-turbocharging. What a funny car this Sport Classic is. Unbelievable. And for me it's pretty exciting, the 7-speed manual gearbox. A lot of you commented when I was driving the Carrera T or other manual gearboxes, hey, the 6-speed is so much better. And yeah, I have to agree, the 7-speed, the shifting itself is very nicely done, and it's the same gearbox as in the GTS. But yeah, I'm not sure if it's a gearbox or if it's yourself. You always fear if you hit the first or third gear, or are you accidentally hitting the seventh? I think there's a learning curve which you have to think about, as it is with every manual gearbox. But yeah, it's so much better than with the PDK. So much more enjoyable.
Oh, die Power!
Yeah, this is not a little 3-liter engine. This is the 3.8-liter.
Wow!
Crazy, the entire front of the car lifted up.
Verrückt!
I'm really wondering how Porsche came to the idea of making only 1,250 cars. Combination, manual gearbox, rear-wheel drive, with the turbo power. This is really something special. Exciting, of course. In one of my last videos I've driven the Carrera T. And yeah, now we've come into one of the craziest comparisons. Carrera T versus Sport Classic. Guys, I really have to say, in the new Carrera T, they made it so good. Of course, you don't have this kind of sound and the power is not even close to this one. But yeah, just from the enjoyable point of view, hey, the Carrera T really is very, very close to this one.
Ah, der Klang.
Yeah, the sound is just amazing. The big 992 turbo sound. And yeah, being a modern car, they of course tune it in such a way that you have the sound at any RPM, so every downshift is a lot of fun. They really made it in such a good way. Maybe also an interesting comparison, how is it compared to a GT3 or GT3 Touring? I really have to say I like this concept a lot more. This car is really not as loud, it's a lot quieter, even compared to a normal 911. I have no idea why, but the overall road noise is quieter. It's so much more pleasant, and the torque, even from 2000 RPM, the turbos are kicking in. With a GT3 you can't even drive it at 2000 RPM. It's simply not working like this. This here is really the perfect 911. No other car combines fun and comfort like this here, the 911 Sport Classic. This is really what I was expecting. And then I didn't even talk about the wonderful styling and the interior, with all that leather. Because it's exclusive manufacturer overload here. This kind of package started here and was also then available for the normal cars, and the B-color leather in cognac and black, wonderful. They really configured this car perfectly. The Pepita, I'm really not that sure on the interior. Sometimes I think a third color or texture is a bit too much, but yeah, it is a very eye-catching car. Even though this one on the exterior is very subtle. But yeah, the ducktail is also pretty cool. And yeah, this is also the highest quality leather, the natural leather. It also smells so nicely. And everything is leathered. The steering wheel column is leathered, the door is leathered, everything. And of course we have a golden plaque with the individual number of the limitation, because it's being a collector's car. It's a bit funny, because we had a little transit route in between the shots. We are now in sport mode with the sport exhaust closed, for 50 kilometers an hour. It is such a pleasant cruiser. The engine is wonderfully quiet. It is really the absolute daily super sports car. But yeah, here's a Sport Classic. I think it's even better because of the manual gearbox. Guys, I've never been more fixed on the manual gearbox. I think in my entire lifetime I will drive manual gearboxes or electric cars. The thing in between, we can leave it. Even at this little speeds, 30-40 kilometers an hour, it's so much fun. And you can just enjoy moving your left foot, moving your right arm. You have to look into the corner, you can shift down and enjoy it. And it's really screaming on the top end. I've already been a big fan of the 992 Turbo, because the car is so amazingly well done. And I was always asking myself, hey, the Sport Classic with rear-wheel drive, how is it going to feel?
Wahnsinn!
Yeah, it really has this kind of turbo punch, it really gives it to you. There a turbo is really better than a naturally aspirated car. When you're pulling out of a hairpin or an intersection, there you notice you drive a proper car. It's so amazing, so much fun. Last question I asked myself when I previewed the 911 Spirit, because we cannot drive it, it's brand new. But in comparison to the other heritage cars by Porsche, this one is by far the rarest and the most expensive one. We are talking about a car which costs now 400,000 euros. Is this car worth 400,000 euros? That is the exciting question. And I really cannot answer this one, because the value is realistic. 1250 cars with rear-wheel drive and a manual gearbox. And of course in the wonderful Sport Classic look with the ducktail, with the clean body, which they made bespoke for the Sport Classic. The cars from new back then cost 280,000 euros. Now it's more 350 to 400,000 euros. And of course even more. This here in PDS is definitely expensive when it would be available. Is this car really worth 400,000 euros? I'm really looking forward to your comments. Because with these kind of prices, there are also a lot of other cars. And you have to say 911 ST or 911R, they are very similar or maybe even a bit cheaper. And that's the question, do you like the naturally aspirated sound with a single mass flywheel? Or do you like the brutal bi-turbo engine? Beautiful thing is, with most owners, they don't have to make a decision. They have them both. And driving such a car is such a pleasure, so enjoyable. Driving the Alps with this one for a really long time. It really is not getting boring. I could drive here in circles the entire day. It's such a good car. And I really don't have to criticize anything on it. This shifter, of course, is not as perfect as with the new Carrera T. There they really made it a bit better, even though it's the same gearbox as one commented, with them just cutting the 7th gear. This one is also geared quite long, as it is the case with any manual Porsche. But if you really like this, then this car gives you so much fun and such a unique performance. Yeah, really, as I said, the expectation at the beginning of this video, this has to be the best 911 that I've driven. Yeah, and this expectation, it definitely met. This was really worth it, filming this car, driving the long distance from Mannheim, over 4 hours. Amazing, what a car. What a wonderful community we have, that I'm able to drive these kind of cars, that you get in contact with me and you ask, hey Michael, do you like to drive this one? What an hour. Thank you so much everyone. If you liked it, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and then we see each other next one. Till then, Allah, ciao!